Welcome everyone. This web video is designed to acquaint you with the why and how of getting your .realtor domain. But first, a little background. Most of my professional career has been in sales and marketing management in the technology industry. I have sold hardware, software, and online services to a variety of industry niches. In 1998, I was working for an internet company in Portland, Maine, providing website development, email services, and collaborative intranet services to the general business market. I realized early on we were not going to be the next AOL, and if I didn't discover a market niche that we could provide a unique set of technologies to, we would soon go the way of the wild buffalo. After market research, I settled upon the municipal government market, and we built a platform that provided the average administrative staff person working for your city government the ability to maintain their own website content, as well as email services using the same platform. Today, that company, Virtual Town Hall, provides services to over 500 city governments around the country. Although we sold the company in 2006, I still represent them in the state of Florida as eCity Services. ECS provides these services to towns as small as Palm Shores with about 800 residents and as large as Deltona with over 90,000 residents. About 5 years ago, my ex-wife, a realtor, had me tagging along on open houses and new client showings, primarily for security purposes. Of course, without my license, I was not able to say anything of substance or help her in the sales process. She finally convinced me to get my license so I could bring a little more value to the equation. At the time, we were working for one of the big nationwide brokerages, and I had adopted their standard email service, and my website was a part of their off-the-shelf brand offering. When we transitioned to a new firm, all that branding, all my email history, and my website went away. I began to realize there had to be a better way and started to evaluate the same technologies I used for city governments and how they might apply to the real estate market. Thus was born Real Estate Cloud Solutions, LLC. And enough about my background, let's get down to the real reason you signed up for this web video. Branding yourself. I want to first point out that we are not the registrar or in any way affiliated with the domain registrar for the .realtor. You can register your own domain, you can set up your own website, and you can set up your own email services. Real Estate Cloud Solutions' mission is to assist real estate professionals in branding themselves, regardless of whether you choose to use the .realtor domain designation or a .com domain. We also provide email services to real estate professionals, design and build websites, and provide customer service for both. If you're a brokerage, we can additionally provide you with intranet services, including cloud storage for your company documents, that will be accessible to all your agents, secure cloud storage for your transaction documents for each agent, and agent-accessible calendars for conference room and training class reservations. If we can help in any way, please give us a call. First, why would you want to consider getting your own domain, especially when Google will offer you free email services and the MLS allows you to create your own agent portal? As you can see here, rperry1234@yahoo.com is not a very professional sounding email address. You can create a free email address like randysellsavito@gmail.com, but does it really represent you as a professional? And of course, what you've been using for your existing personal email may not even represent you in the real estate market. And regardless of what free email address you get from Google, it doesn't really give you the ability to create a website that uses the same name. So whether you select a .realtor domain or a .com, .org, or .biz, or any other domain, you should establish yourself as a professional in the market you serve. So the first question everyone asks is, where do I go to register a domain and what are my options? If you choose to go with a commercial domain, the first level domains are almost limitless. That means you could select a .com, a .org, .biz, etc. And you can register it just about anywhere. The most popular domain registrars are Network Solutions, GoDaddy.com, Enum, and Yahoo. But there are many more to choose from, and each offers different services and charges different prices. If you choose to go with a .realtor domain, you have to go to the domain registrar at the .realtor site, and there are limitations as to what those names can be. First, unlike commercial domains, only realtors who are members of the National Association of Realtors, not real estate agents, can acquire a .realtor domain. So let's get started. You can visit www.about.realtor and click on the menu option for starting your domain registration process. Before you get started, I want to talk about what you will need to know and the elements you will need to set up each part of the process correctly. The domain registrar is where you will do the initial registration and make your annual renewals. The first year is free and the annual renewal fee is $39.95, but that is subject to change. And keep in mind, it doesn't include any web services or email. It is just to acquire your unique domain name. When you register your domain name, you will be asked to identify the internet company that will manage your domain name. They can be anyone, but generally it is best to choose one that can provide you with your email service or your website services. This includes what are called the name servers. Whether you know it or not, each computer that is connected to the internet has a unique internet address that is called an IP address. The company that manages your domain name will set up the appropriate name server pointers to identify the IP address of the server that will be managing your email services and the server that will be managing your website services. They do not have to be from the same company or even on the same continent. Who owns the domain? Well, technically, when you register the domain, you do. When you set up your domain, you will also be asked for contact information. There are 3 different points of contact, or POCs: the registrant, who is the owner, the administrative contact, and the technical contact. I strongly recommend you do not name yourself as all 3. By the way, I make the same recommendation with my city government clients, even when they have a strong IT staff. In the past, I have had clients that chose to ignore my recommendations and ended up losing the domain record when they failed to renew it. This is especially important when the domain is a commercial domain. Each renewal period, your domain registrar will send an email notifying each contact that the domain name is up for renewal. When we were notified as the technical contact, we could remind our customers that it was real, not spam, and not another registrar trying to take over the record. If we didn't get that email, they would often think the reminder was spam and ignore it. If you're a brokerage, it would be advisable to have each POC identified as a different individual. So what should your domain name be? Well, the .realtor registrar has some limitations. Your first name or your last name or a combination is required. Frankly, I do not want my domain to be Randy.realtor or Perry.realtor because it just doesn't tell a stranger who I am entirely. Think about it. If you work alone, then your first and last name pretty much tell everyone what they need to know, what your name is and where to find your website. If you work as a team, you may want to use a combination like TeamPerry.realtor. My recommendation is the shorter the better. Make it easy to remember. You can register more than one domain, and depending upon who provides you with the services, they can all point to the same website and same email box if you like. Each domain will have an additional cost, but volume discounts for multiple domains and multiple years do apply. For brokerage firms, the rules are a bit more limited. The domain must include the name of the firm at a minimum. Now that you have your domain, what email address should you set up? Pretty much anything you like. It could be jim@jimsmith.realtor, or jimselzovito@jimsmith.realtor, or simply info@jimsmith.realtor. Email addresses are not set up by the domain registrar. They're set up by the company that hosts your email services. For instance, Google offers Gmail accounts using your own domain. They have 2 different options to my knowledge. The first is $5 per month but does not include automatic archiving. The second is $10 per month but does include automatic archiving of all incoming and outgoing email. Regardless of who you choose, my recommendation would be to insist on automatic archiving. In your profession, an email message that includes a written acceptance of a contract or negotiated terms should never be deleted. Without automatic archiving, you can easily lose track of or accidentally delete email messages that might be requested of you should there be a dispute between the buyer and seller or their respective agents. Why should you set up your own website? The obvious answer is to brand yourself. You may use social media to market yourself, but your website can fill in the blanks. It can tell your prospect who you are and how long you've been in business. A well-designed website should establish your credentials as a professional in your industry. Believe me, it will not be the go-to place when someone wants to search for property. Realtor.com, Zillow, and Trulia spend too much on advertising, and they command that market space. I'm not suggesting your website shouldn't include a search, but it should not be the primary focus of your website. The site should help you sell yourself as the realtor your prospect should do business with. It should not be a replication of your Facebook page. It should be the place that you can send a prospective customer who wants to know more about you in an easy-to-access location. I know this is a lot to try to take in. If you have additional questions that have not been answered in this short video, please feel free to call or email me. I will answer your questions as promptly as possible, and will also send new questions and answers out to all who have subscribed to our site. And don't get hung up on the complexity of the process. The purpose of getting your own domain is to brand yourself professionally and to establish your credentials in your respective markets. Remember your argument when a prospective seller asks you why they should hire a realtor rather than try to sell it themselves? Professionals provide value. If you want to get your own domain with a professional email address and even a professional website, we can help. Thanks again, and feel free to share our website address and Facebook page with other members of your network. Thank you very much.